In recent months, rumors and discussions have circulated widely about former U.S. President Donald Trump's bold ambitions to push America's territorial boundaries further than ever before. In December, Trump made headlines by suggesting that Canada should become the 51st state of the United States. He also expressed interest in taking back control of the Panama Canal and posted on his social media platform, Truth Social, that acquiring Greenland was an absolute necessity for America's future. Initially, many dismissed these comments as either jokes or bluster without serious intent. However, a recent press conference at Mar-a-Lago changed the tone of the conversation dramatically. At this press conference, Trump made waves by hinting at the use of military measures to seize control of Greenland and the Panama Canal, a move that left many wondering whether his remarks signaled genuine intent or strategic posturing. He also threatened to impose hefty tariffs on Denmark unless they agreed to relinquish Greenland. Regarding Canada, Trump hinted at using economic measures to push for a merger, claiming it would enhance security for both countries. On Truth Social, he doubled down on these ideas, posting that a U.S.-Canada merger would ensure Canadian security and promising to make Greenland great again. While these statements have garnered significant attention, it's important to address the feasibility of such moves. The notion of Canada becoming a U.S. state is far-fetched. There is virtually no support for this idea within Canada, and even the most fringe political groups advocating for a U.S.-Canada union have minimal public backing. For instance, the Quebec-based Party 51, which supports making Quebec the 51st U.S. state, garnered only 0.02% of the vote in the 2022 Quebec general election. Similarly, the idea of the U.S. reclaiming control over the Panama Canal is a long shot. The canal was originally built and operated by the United States in the early 20th century. However, in 1977, President Jimmy Carter signed a treaty to gradually transfer control of the canal back to Panama, a process that was completed in 1999. The treaty included a neutrality clause ensuring fair access to all nations and allowing the U.S. to intervene if this neutrality was threatened. Trump's recent rhetoric about military action appears aimed at pressuring Panama to lower canal toll rates, but these rates are already relatively low by international standards. Additionally, any reduction in tolls would benefit China as much as the U.S., given that China is now the canal's second largest user. Trump's focus on the Panama Canal may also stem from concerns about growing ties between Panama and China. While there are no Chinese troops stationed at the canal, as Trump falsely claimed, it is true that relations between Panama and China have warmed in recent years. Panama's decision to sever diplomatic ties with Taiwan in favor of China and the fact that a Hong Kong-based company operates ports at both ends of the canal have heightened U.S. concerns. However, Trump's aggressive stance risks driving Panama closer to China rather than reinforcing U.S. influence in the region. Historically, Greenland has been viewed by U.S. leaders as a strategically valuable asset, with past American administrations pursuing various acquisition attempts. Unlike other territorial ambitions, Trump's interest in Greenland aligns with this legacy, making it a more plausible focus for expansion. The island's military importance, particularly in monitoring Arctic activity and Russian submarine movements, underscores why it remains a coveted geopolitical target for the U.S. An autonomous territory of Denmark, Greenland sits northeast of Canada and has a population of about 55,000. Historically, the U.S. has shown interest in purchasing Greenland. In the 1860s, America entered negotiations to buy both Greenland and Iceland. In 1910, the U.S. even proposed trading 2 Philippine islands to Denmark in exchange for Greenland, with the idea that Denmark could then trade those islands to Germany for northern Schleswig. Although Denmark ultimately declined these offers, the U.S. did secure a defense agreement with Denmark in 1951, allowing American troops to defend the island. Trump first floated the idea of purchasing Greenland in August 2019, creating a diplomatic uproar. He even shared a photoshopped image of a Trump-branded hotel in a Greenlandic village, which prompted Denmark's Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen to call the proposal absurd. In recent months, however, Trump has revived this idea, once again promising on Truth Social to make Greenland great again and threatening Denmark with high tariffs if they refuse to sell. Yet the geopolitical situation in Greenland may change independently of U.S. actions. Pro-independence parties won 80% of the vote in Greenland's last election, and Greenland's Prime Minister Mutta Egi formally called for independence from Denmark in his New Year's address. While this could potentially make Greenland more open to U.S. influence, Greenland's leadership has made it clear they are not interested in becoming part of the U.S. Instead, they are focused on achieving full independence. Turning to Mexico, the discussion takes on a more complex and controversial dimension. Historically, U.S.-Mexico relations have been marked by cooperation and tension, particularly in areas such as border security and trade. However, recent reports suggest suggests that Trump's team is exploring aggressive measures to combat the drug cartels that wield significant power in northern Mexico. The idea of a soft invasion to tackle cartel-controlled regions, though drastic, echoes historical U.S. interventions in Latin America. Yet any unauthorized military action would not only breach international law but also risk destabilizing bilateral relations. This raises critical questions about sovereignty, regional security, and the long-term impact of such a move on U.S.-Mexico diplomacy. Although Trump didn't mention Mexico during his recent press conference, there have been reports that his team is considering a military operation in northern Mexico to combat drug cartels. These cartels control large swathes of territory, and Trump's administration has reportedly explored the idea of a soft invasion to tackle the problem. However, any military action in Mexico without the Mexican government's consent would be a significant breach of international law. Moreover, unless the U.S. achieved rapid success, such an operation could lead to a prolonged occupation or the creation of a buffer zone in northern Mexico, which would be highly controversial. In summary, while Trump's border expansion proposals may seem improbable, they revive historical debates about American influence and territorial ambitions. Greenland, in particular, stands out as a recurring geopolitical interest due to its strategic location and natural resources, making it a focal point for future U.S. maneuvering in the Arctic region. However, these ideas face significant legal, diplomatic, and logistical hurdles. More broadly, Trump's rhetoric about territorial expansion highlights a willingness to challenge international norms and threaten the sovereignty of other nations, including America's allies. Should he return to the presidency in 2025, his second term is likely to bring significant geopolitical turbulence. As the world heads into 2025, the global political landscape is shifting. A new group of influential leaders is emerging, and the question remains, who will come out on top? If you're curious to track these developments, our World Leader Leaderboard podcast offers weekly insights into the winners and losers on the global stage. Additionally, you can cast your vote for the world's most influential person in our upcoming issue of Too Long magazine. By participating, you'll help shape our list of the top global influencers and gain access to exclusive content, including behind-the-scenes discussions and debates about power and influence in today's world.